Hey, today I'm going to talk about 3 completely random movies. I did have it planned in place at one point in time, but then everything got all messed up, and that's fine. That's just how life is. So the names of the 3 movies I'm talking about today are Rams, Orange County, and Greenberg. First up is Rams. This is a 2020 Australian movie starring Sam Neill. This movie was on my radar last year, but then of course everything shut down. And I'm sure I would have seen it last year had, the world not gone to hell. The basic premise is it's about these 2 brothers who are both sheep farmers, and even though they live 100 feet apart from each other, they haven't spoken in roughly 40 years. I went into this thinking that it was a comedy because the poster looks like it's a comedy, the trailer made it look like it's a comedy, but it's not a comedy. It's definitely a drama. There are funny things that happen in this movie, but it is way more so a drama before it is a comedy. Sorry, more like this. I am a little curious if Australians think that it's more funny than it comes across in other cultures, because I could recognize when jokes were happening, and jokes didn't happen that often, but really big, serious, sad things happened quite a lot. So that's why I would call it more of a drama than a comedy. I wasn't in the right headspace for this movie. I wanted a very light, silly comedy thing. That's what I was in the mood for. I was not in the mood for a drama. So I went into this movie with the wrong kind of attitude. So that was rough. And after 25 minutes, I paused it for some reason. I took a little break. I kind of was I don't want to go back into this movie. I don't want to watch the rest of this movie. But I was this movie's not bad. I can't just give up on this movie. So I continued to watch it, and I was able to accept the movie for what it was. I think on a different day, I easily could have put this movie in the really liked category. It is good though. It is pretty dang good. I did enjoy it. It was a cute, fun, wholesome movie with lots of good moments. Sam Neill being, the obvious highlight. So yeah. Next up is Orange County. Do you want me to take off my clothes and start the revolution? Why, yes, I do, Jack Black. This is a 2002 MTV movie, and it feels so hardcore like a 2002 MTV movie. But it's pretty good. I have seen this one before way back in the day on either MTV or Comedy Central. It aired on repeat. It stars Colin Hanks and a ton of other actors that you know and love. The basic premise is that Colin Hanks was a surfer dude in high school who didn't care about anything until one day he decided to turn his life around and become a writer. And he wants to go off to college to pursue that career, but maybe something happens and that might not happen, maybe. This is a very cute little movie. It's very harmless. It's a very Saturday afternoon type of movie, just like a movie to have on in the background and stuff while you're doing other things. There are definitely good jokes in this movie, but it's also a movie where you really don't have to pay attention. Especially because you can pick up pretty quick on the premise of everything, and as long as you're paying attention when it all comes together in the end, you'll get the entire value of the wholesome moment at the end. So yeah, it's just a cute, pleasant little movie. I recommend it, but don't expect your world to change. It's just gonna be a nice little nostalgia run of 2002. What was the world like in 2002? This movie. I will say though, it has a banging soundtrack. It is a highlight reel of that era, and it's got some real good shit on there. And lastly is Greenberg. This is a 2010 movie starring Ben Stiller and Greta Gerwig. The basic premise is that Ben Stiller recently had a mental breakdown, so while his brother and family are off, he is living in his brother's house, and his brother's assistant, Greta Gerwig, comes around and helps him with stuff, and they may or may not start a relationship of some kind. I didn't really care for this movie. It felt very pretentious, and it felt like a lot of times it was Gen Xers being preachy at millennials. Like Ben Stiller literally gives a speech at one point about like the stupidness of the next generation. And yes, he is high on coke at that point, and it maybe is supposed to be a joke, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel like a joke. It just feels like he's being a dick at millennials. A thing that happened early on that really just put me off immensely was like, so Ben Stiller meets Greta Gerwig. He's like, hey, do you want to like go get a drink or something? And they try to do that, it kind of falls apart. They just go back to her place and they decide to get a drink there. And he like very superly awkwardly makes a move on her. My immediate reaction was like, okay, she's about to, push him away and start yelling at him a bit. Be like, whoa, whoa, whoa there, buddy. Let's cool it down there a second. Because like there was no flirtatious buildup to that moment. It was just like two people having a conversation, and then suddenly he just like went for it, and I'm like, this is not good. Legit, within, I want to say 30 seconds, maybe a minute of that very first, very, very awkward kiss, he's going down on her with her tits out. And maybe the intention of that scene is it's supposed to be like, ha, it's so funny how quickly things escalated and it's so awkward, ha ha. But to me, it feels way more like scummy Hollywood people wanting to see an attractive actress naked thing. Like, this does not feel like good storytelling. It feels like scummy Hollywood shit being very, very scummy. It's really just the vibe I get. I also really, really, really hate that more than once in the movie, they make comments about Greta Gerwig's weight. And I'm like, no. Just no. First off, just no. But secondly, she is not even kind of pudgy. She is a normal human weight. You do not make comments about this. Just no. But even with that, I didn't hate the movie because like it is still Greta Gerwig doing cutesy stuff. And like I can kind of understand where this movie's coming from, but it's been, 11 years and times have changed and this movie aged poorly. So I don't recommend this movie. I didn't hate it, but yeah, don't watch this movie. Alright, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Rams sitting at number 90 in the quite like section. And then after that is Orange County sitting at number 125 in the like section. And then bringing up the rear is Greenberg sitting at 159 in the meh category. And this is out of a total of 197 old movies so far this year. And that brings the grand total out of all the movies I've watched this year up to 240.